Imagine you stand in a large classroom and say out loud,
1 + 1 = 3.
People laugh, students laugh, even the professor, who lost hope in math 20 years ago, laughs, because the statement is simply impossible. But the really strange thing, when God says,
male and female,
Freedom!
progress!
We must rewrite nature!
as if 1 + 1 = 3 makes more sense than the very blueprint of creation itself. Even animals. The strangest part is that animals, without schools, philosophy, or conferences, never confuse their natural instincts. Put a male with another male for 100 years. Neither becomes female. Put a female with another female for 1,000 years. The rules do not flip. Instinct is fixed. Nature is solid, except with humans when they drift away from themselves. Here comes the real question. What drives some people towards same-sex attraction? Is it choice, psychology, trauma, hormones, social influence? Let's explore each doorway one by one. Psychological and scientific section. Why attraction happens. Attraction is not a moment. It is the result of a series of events, including childhood trauma or abuse, psychological shocks, growing up in a single-gender environment, hormonal or genetic variations, excessive exposure to pornography and social media, absence of parental role models, mimicking societal trends and media, seeking acceptance and belonging. To understand deeply, let me tell you 4 completely different stories, each representing a common and influential cause. Yusuf, childhood sexual trauma. Yusuf was 8 years old, a quiet child who trusted anyone who smiled at him. An older neighbor started to caress him, then crossed the line. Yusuf didn't understand, didn't know how to escape, and had no words to defend himself. The human brain, when hit with early trauma, links fear with pleasure, forming a distorted path for sexual attraction. Yusuf grew up feeling a confusing attraction to boys, not love, but the echo of an old, unhealed wound. Years later, in therapy, he understood. His attraction was not an identity. It was a psychological scar formed before he even knew what identity meant. Leah, pornography and social media influence. Leah grew up in a normal environment, but was exposed early to online pornography and social media. The constant sexual content rewired her brain, making her perceive relationships and attraction in a distorted way. Comparisons on social media made her believe that traditional relationships were outdated and that same-sex attraction was trendy or an experience to try. Leah often imitated what she saw, feeling confused between her natural desires and the influence of digital culture. Through therapy and guidance, she learned to differentiate between natural attraction and socially induced habits, gradually returning to her natural inclinations. Jaden, growing up surrounded by one gender. Jaden was raised with 4 sisters, his mother, and grandmother. He had no boys to play with. His toys, his speech, his mannerisms, his feelings, all were influenced by the predominantly female environment surrounding him. Children are not born with fixed personalities. They mirror their environment. When they grow up in a single-gender environment, the opposite sex feels foreign, idealized, and distant, making attraction often more psychological curiosity than romantic love. When he moved into a balanced, mixed-gender dorm, his feelings shifted over months. The issue was not a fixed sexual orientation, but an environment that created a false impression. Eden, genetic variations and biological disorders. Eden was born with a mild syndrome affecting the development of brain regions related to body identity. It wasn't an obvious illness, just a subtle disorder detectable only through specialized tests. This type of biological variation may cause a child to feel misaligned with their body, perceiving themselves closer to the opposite sex, even if their body is healthy. As Eden grew and received medical and behavioral treatment, the picture stabilized. He realized his feelings were not a core truth, but neurological confusion that could be treated. Sexual attraction is not a predetermined fate, nor a truth you are born with. It is an interaction between environment, experiences, hormones, trauma, media, and a young brain trying to make sense of the world before it matures. Instinct, no matter how delayed, returns. What is created straight does not bend except through injury or deficiency, and what is naturally designed returns once its cause is healed. How to return to natural orientation. Understand the real cause. Understanding the root is half the cure. Close the door to pornography. It reshapes brain maps dramatically. Heal old traumas. Childhood doesn't disappear. It screams inside adults. Correct hormones if necessary. The simplest analysis can change a lifetime. Maintain a healthy social environment. Humans mirror what they see and interact with. Return to natural instincts. Male and female is not just a verse, it is the fundamental structure of life itself.